Hey guys, Nate Bailey here with the Life Outdoors and Barebow Hunter, getting some wood in, rainy, wet day here in March. But I was going through some video today and I found this clip from 2017 and I thought it'd be great to share it with you guys because it's talking about technology and how that's going to affect our bow season down the road. And this was in 2017. And some of the things we're talking about in that video have actually come to surface in 2020. They were really talking about it, and it has yet to come to surface, and they're still talking about making some changes to our elk seasons. So hopefully this video will kind of get that conversation started among you and your friends and your bow hunting friends, and we can start talking about some of this because it's going to affect all of us. So hopefully that's why we put this video out. We don't want to create controversy or arguing or anything else, but we do want to create a conversation. So before I jump into the video, the second thing I want to tell you guys that we have Barebow Hunter t-shirts over at barebowhunters.com. So go to barebowhunters.com, and if you guys like what we're doing, if you like what you're seeing, if you could go over there and help support us. We're trying to provide you with a product so you can help support us. If you like what we're bringing to you, and trying to advance the sport of barebows and advance hunting and advance elk hunting, duck hunting, all that stuff, if you could do that, it would help us out a bunch. So barebowhunters.com and also thelifeoutdoors.com. All right, without further ado, check out what we're talking about in this video. I think you're going to like it. You know, bow season's changed. I used to hunt Ochiko unit back in the day, and I shoot, you could hunt Ochiko with an over-the-counter tag, and now it's all draw tags. And I think it's going to get to be more and more draw tags, less and less tags as we go.
Actually, I think it's already happened.
Yeah, I think so too.
We were 600 tags this year, and 3 or 4 years ago we had this tag. It was almost 1,000, I think.
Yeah. And so you get a lot of people. I think it's just the way the bow hunting's changed. You know, bows nowadays, when this system was created, it was created with bows with the idea that it's a close game. You know, bow hunting is a close. You're getting within that animal's worry zone, is what I call it, that 30-yard zone. And if you're inside that zone, you've really had to work to get there. And now with the bows being able to shoot, there's guys shooting. I saw on YouTube a guy shooting 100 yards with a bow and killing an animal, and the bow will do it, and the guy could shoot it. You know, I'm not saying that's unethical. What I'm saying is the bows can do it now, and he could do it. So at what point do we call it bow hunting anymore? At what point do we still continue to have these tags? If we're going to keep pushing the technology,
and where we're at, there is still tons of elk and everything else. But if the success rate, if everyone that gets this tag kills an elk, there'll be less tags next year. Right.
That goes without saying, and that's with everything, you know. And so those success rates rise from technology. They really do. You know, when you start talking about, don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those guys that says we shouldn't have compound bows, and one of those guys that says that long shots, you know, I know guys that are shooting 50, 60 yards consistently and killing elk consistently at 50 yards. That was unheard of when I first started. A 50-yard shot when I first started was super long. And so what's going on now is we have the equipment and the technology to, and if you spend just a little bit of time, the same amount of time I used to spend to be efficient at 30 yards with my stick bow, if you spend that amount of time with the compound, you're going to shoot 100 yards and be real consistent with it. And so at what point do we, I guess it's a question we all have to ask, especially as bow hunters, especially as hunters, do we want longer seasons or do we want more technology? And it's a question that we really have to ask, is because what's going to happen as success rates rise, and guys are getting better at this. I mean, elk hunters are getting better. And it's good. I think it's good. You know, guys learning how to call, and guys getting in and using your knowing your ground and getting out here and really working at this, I think that's a great thing. But we still got to keep it a close game if we're going to still have the tag. You know, we still got it. We still got to allow ourselves some leeway as far as how hard it is, or else we will lose it. Just like Ochiko lost its over-the-counter status, and it was all because of that. It was all because of that. So, at what point, as hunters, as bow hunters, do we go, enough is enough? You know, is it at 85% let off? Is it at lighted nocks? Is it at
lighted sights?
Lighted sights. I was just talking to a guy the other day, and he was talking about he wished we could shoot expandables in Oregon because they fly. You know, you have to do less tuning with them. And are we getting to that point where we're going to start thinking that way? Because if we are, we might as well rifle hunt, right? Are we just wanting to bow hunt because of the rut? That's why I bow hunt, is because of the rut, and I like that closing experience. So we got to ask ourselves, where are we taking it? You know,
it's a whole different bow hunting than it was 20 years ago.
Oh, I hunted with a compound. You know, I hunted this very ground right here with a compound. But that compound, I shot fingers and I tried shooting sights with it. I took the sights completely off. And then I went back to my stick bows because shooting fingers with a compound really didn't make any sense. And, but it was over the counter, man. It was over the counter, and, you know, there weren't hardly any people in it. And the people that were in it, you might have a lot of encounters, but boy, you don't get a lot of shots. You yesterday, 40 yards. You were within 40 yards.
Didn't have the shot.
Didn't have the shot. We've been in bulls
every day.
Every single day. Every single day. And I don't want to lose that personally over equipment. I don't want, because we have on video, we actually have an elk on video that a lot of guys would have killed.
Yeah.
A lot of guys would have shot at that elk with compounds, with the newer compounds and shooting, because he was probably within 60 yards of me broadside, standing there for about 5 seconds. That's not even close for me. I couldn't do anything with that.
I've seen you shoot 60 yards.
Right, but not
at a foam target.
Right. No, there's no way I'd shoot 60 yards. And he was standing there. Now, if we have too much of that in there, if we have guys that could actually do, and guys can, and you know, I get it. You know, if you're gonna kill an animal, that's what you're doing while you're hunting. So why would you stop yourself if you're capable of doing it? But maybe we should limit our equipment so we could keep our seasons, because guys start figuring out to be able to hunt the way we're hunting, start getting into 5 bulls a day, and then taking shots at 70 yards. It's just not bow hunting anymore.
Just a couple days ago, we had that one come in at 70 yards.
Right.
And people would have took a shot.
That one, yeah.
There was a shot. It was a frontal shot.
Right.
There was no way I was taking it.
Right.
There was no way.
Right. Me neither.
Yeah.
But there's guys that would, and I've seen guys that have.
I know a guy that did it just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, did a frontal shot in 60, 70 yards.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm comfortable with my bow. I shoot 60, 70 yards at a target all the time.
Sure.
And my pattern's like this.
Sure.
But it takes 6 seconds to get there. It takes 4 seconds to get there. So really, that animal has all the time in the world to move away from my arrow before it gets to him.
Right.
And so I just don't think that's the right.
Well, even then, even if it's perfect and the animal gets it and you kill it, we're no longer doing what bow hunting was intended to do. See, and we're hunting that same season with the lethality rates. We're hunting the same season now that we set up. And anybody could argue the fact. They could say, oh, you know, the lethality rates and all this, there's not as many and this and that. They could argue that all they want. All I know is when you start seeing tag numbers go down and hunters go up, something is going on. And it has another thing that the equipment has done is you don't have to shoot your equipment all the time. You know, So I guess we got to ask ourselves, you know, there's a lot of things coming up. Lighted nocks was another one that came up. And I know a lot of guys that are against it. And I know a lot of guys that are like, oh, why in the world would anybody be against that? And I understand both sides. But I think it's the slippery slope of technology people are really trying to stay away from.
Trackers were talked about.
Trackers, yeah. Trackers were talked about. Why would anybody need that?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you'll take a bad shot if you have a tracker in it. You know, I mean, you start thinking this stuff through. Human beings, as they are going to take advantage of technology and take advantage of things they shouldn't. So you start thinking this stuff through. I don't know, man. I've seen it. You know, I've been around it long enough to see my season's going away, and I see more and more people coming out and taking. I don't want to say the easy way because there's nothing easy about bow hunting, but lessening that gap of that learning gap, and we do keep doing that. We're gonna solve this problem. We're gonna make elk hunting a lot easier, and we already have. I mean, in some ways, just our clothes make it a whole lot more enjoyable. I'll tell you what, I would never take that back though. being able to put in the miles and stay out all day because you're not wearing cotton.
And you're not chafing, you're not doing any of
that. That's it. That's the big thing. You know, I've been out here a week and I haven't chafed yet.
At all.
Man, I remember the day where you're just gritting your teeth trying to get through the day.
And your boots didn't fit you right and they're heavy.
Yeah, your boots didn't fit right. They were heavy. They didn't breathe. You know, if they were waterproof, you slathered them with leather.
That kind of technology I like.
Yeah, and I get it. You know, it's just how much is enough, you know? And I don't have anything against the guys that are shooting 80 yards. I don't. But I think collectively as bow hunters, we have to define what we are going to call bow hunting. Because I guarantee you here in another 5 years, we're going to be fighting crossbows are going to be coming in and saying that they're bows. And if you get to a point where your compound looks a lot like a crossbow, how you tell them no? You know, if you could shoot at 100 yards, you could shoot at 100 yards. You're outside of that 30-yard effective animal range. You know, the animal's defense range. So I don't know. Bow hunting's changing, that's for sure. I think a lot for the good. I love seeing guys working hard. You know, because that's what bow hunting's always been. Bow hunting's always been that. But one thing I don't like is some of the technology making it easier shooting-wise, right? Making your shots to where you can shoot 70, 80 yards and feel comfortable at it, 60, 70 yards. Bow hunting should be a close game, regardless of equipment.
Anti-jerk release.
Yeah, anti-jerk releases.
Makes it that much easier.
Yeah, well, I mean...
You don't even have to go shoot your bow.
You don't even have to learn how to pull a release the right way now.
You get
the slam release.
You go get it sighted in, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we're going. I don't want to see us lose a lot of what we have here. You know, I don't want to see that. And eventually, you know, if we as hunters have to band together. You know, I'm not against any kind of hunting. Any legal hunting I am completely for, but we have to band together and we have to but we do have to define what bow hunting really is. I don't know why we intensely pick up a bow because it's hard and then try to make it easier. And I understand it's probably to get meat in the freezer, but you know what, maybe you should go grab a couple doe tags for your rifle and go grab some cows or some does and fill up the freezer that way. Or some, I tell you what, in Oregon, why don't everybody go out and get bear meat?
Yep. There's a lot of bears.
If you need a place to know where to go get bear meat, we need you to kill the bears. Cascades, Southern Cascades, just go up there and shoot all the bears. And it'll help our deer herd a bunch. I don't know what the answer completely is though. All I know is I can't lose this to technology, to getting easier.